Gigantic.
Hey, what's up, everyone? It is June 28th, 2024. July is almost here. We are almost halfway through the year. This is Gigantic Pop. I'm Glenn Rubenstein, joined by Raj Giri and Matt Morgan for the first time coming to you live in high definition.
Yay. Thanks to my friends. I have a new camera. I'm hardwired. Hopefully this is coming across well, guys. And did this for all you guys in the comment sections that say I have the worst connection of all time. Thank you, Raj and Glenn. You guys are the best partners. Thank you.
It's good. I mean, Matt, I have to admit, I always prefer when you're in the truck and you're saying hi to your neighbors.
That's kind of old school.
Yeah.
Cop cars flying by.
Yeah, that's the authentic experience of the three of us. But good to see you all. Hope you're all having a good week. I can't believe summer is upon us. 4th of July is next week. It's crazy, but a lot is going on right now in the world. Raj, what is the latest on this? The Shane McMahon story last week ran the gamut where it was, Shane was asking some AEW wrestlers about, hey, should I reach out? Could I join? Everyone was like, oh, no, that's not happening. And then Tony Khan's like, well, I've never met him, but I would welcome a conversation.
Yeah, I mean, why wouldn't he? He was speaking with Sports Illustrated, and he said, Tony Khan said, I heard the rumor he might be interested. I've never met Shane, but we have a lot of mutual friends. I have a lot of respect for him as an executive and a professional wrestler. Shane is always welcome in AEW.
Cool.
What would you do with him, though?
There's not much. I mean, you're right. What would you do with him? He's not going to wrestle. If he wrestles, that's a one night. It's not even a draw. No disrespect to Shane. I love Shane. He's one of the good McMahons. But seriously, I don't know what, unless his creative, was he considered like really creative when he was? I don't remember if he was.
Well, he wanted to book himself to win the Royal Rumble in 2022. So,
I don't want to say that.
And he had that WrestleMania spot last year, and he did that Best in the World tournament. God, now that I think about it, God, that sounds horrible. But before that, before he went heel on AJ, like Shane was great as the GM of SmackDown with Daniel Bryan.
If they used him as that, okay, as a GM, that would be a good role.
NYC Demon Diva Issa says Shane McMahon wins the Owen Hart tournament and becomes the best Hart in the world.
That was well played.
Yeah. No, look, I said it last week. Are the clips out there? People are hating and saying, "Oh, Glenn, that's dumb." But this invasion angle idea with him is the natural storyline. To say, since Moxley showed up, I've been planting the seeds to take over your company, Tony Khan. And you've hired, Adam Copeland, Claudio, Rusev, Samoa Joe. This was all my doing.
Huh. Okay, that's not horrible.
I mean, it's low hanging fruit. It's easy, but it would be fun. It would be better than the WCW invasion was, I think.
Well, it depends. If you're talking about when Hall and Nash came in, that's like one of the all-time greats.
No. When WCW invaded WWE.
Oh, yes, that sucked.
It would be better than that. It would be somewhere, but it would not be as good as the original NWO.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I don't even think you need to do an invasion angle. You could have Shane, the Young Bucks appoint Shane like the manager of one of the shows. You have Tony Khan as the manager of the other. Split those rosters. They have so much talent that's not getting enough screen time. You split those rosters with Collision and Dynamite and have Christopher Daniels as the on-screen authority for one, Shane for the other. It could work.
I mean,
I just think with an invasion angle, no one's going to buy it in this day and age, especially if the talent's already there.
I mean, it's funny thinking about it. Now that you mentioned, the Young Bucks love trolling people. And then bringing in Shane McMahon does seem like the ultimate troll move in AEW.
We'll see.
Yeah. But it's weird that Tony Khan publicly is like, yeah, let's talk. Teach me how to dance.
Well, you know what? It's smart because that's going to get headlines, right?
Yeah.
If he just said the same thing as last week, where if he just said, I've never spoken to him and that's it, no one's going to pick up on that. But if, by saying he'd be interested in having Shane in AEW, then that was all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I welcome to see what happens with it. I think it strangely would, Man, it would have been better as a surprise. That's what makes me think that won't happen, is that because you're right, he's getting the headlines, he's owning the media cycle. with this. But if it was a surprise, that's what would be like, oh my God, like people would not believe this happened.
All right. Even with these reports out there and Tony making that comment, if he were to show up and they made it a surprise where it didn't leak, yeah, I mean, it would have the internet like going crazy.
Yeah. And then I'm sure someone would ask Triple H about it at a press conference. Like this would kind of reignite. I mean, this would be chess piece wise, the optics of this would be one of the most powerful things AEW could do by signing a McMahon.
But do you think by doing this, then Shane isn't under contract with WWE? That WWE is probably like, maybe we should sign Shane again and give him a big fat deal because they don't want him to, even that possibility of him going to AEW, which I don't ever see happening. But I can see Nick Khan being like, let's make sure Shane is taken care of.
He's got to be kind of salty though, right?
I don't see why. I mean, remember they brought him. Was it this last? It was last year's WrestleMania, right? Where he tore his quad and Snoop. They improv'd and Snoop pinned Miz. But,
well, he went away for many years though. So I mean, this is all publicly available. Someone in the chat might know. Like, what was his stock allocation versus Stephanie and Hunter's?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, he might not have reaped the rewards.
Honestly, guys, I don't really give a shit if he shows up to. I'm just being honest. You guys are talking about it. I'm like, guys, this is boring. This is boring. Okay. If he goes to, not you guys, but Shane going to AEW, I mean, if they didn't say anything about it and it wasn't put out there, like you said, and it just came out of left field and it was a surprise, that's what it would be. It'd be a very big surprise. Yeah. Everyone would be talking about it. But overall, I just don't see what the payoff would be unless, there's something I'm not thinking of, obviously. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about let's talk about Dijak, who just got released from or WWE announced that as of today his contract is not renewed.
Crappy.
Yeah, he's a free agent. Yeah.
He's a crappy deal for him because he's been putting in, as WWE likes to say, now banger after banger. I'm not going to say that, so corny. But he's been putting up really good matches. He can work with anybody. He's a big man that can work with anybody. It's not easy to do. Usually when you're a big man, everybody has to work around your limitations when you're a big. Not him. He's the complete opposite. I think he's uber talented. That three-way during WrestleMania weekend is one of my favorite matches of the entire weekend. Dead ass. That was such a great match. But I hope he lands. He'll land on his feet. And I hope he gets paid. I hope he gets paid. But if he goes somewhere like an AEW, he'll add to that roster a bunch of guys that can do a lot of really impressive moves. That's what their audience likes. That's what Tony books for. I just, hope enough time goes by quick so he can get back to WWE because I'm sure that's where he wants to be.
Yeah, I think the one thing is that he was also under a regular contract, not an NXT contract. So he was getting paid a lot of money while he was in NXT. And I feel like they probably didn't see his act in NXT right now. Still working on the main roster. And it's like his contract's coming up. We don't want to renew at that high rate, if he's still going to be in NXT because.
Raj, I'm sorry. Do you guys think anything that had to do with the Ronda Rousey comments?
Did she say anything about Dijak?
Wait, who'd she say it about? Wasn't him? Who was it about?
No, it was Drew Gulak. And Gulak's
I'm sorry. Wrong guy. Yeah.
But I think Dijak, he just needs to work on his character and his promos because he's got it in the ring. He's got size. He's got a cool look. He just needs to work on his promos and a character that, like Drew McIntyre when he left, he changed his look. He got rid of the blonde hair and the ponytail and the pretty boy look and just worked his ass off. And if Dijak can do that and really present himself like a star and not worry so much about the in-ring, they'll definitely want him back.
But the rib here is that when it goes to AEW, that is what it's going to be centered around. It's not going to be centered. They're not character driven. They're spot driven. They're 5-star match rating driven. That's the only thing they give a shit about on that show. They don't care about their characters. But like some of them do. And some of them, if you notice with WWE guys, so like Edge and Christian, they try to do something different with at least Christian, with their characters. Right. Most of the roster, not so much.
And when you do, look, it pays off. Christian's getting pay-per-view main events. MJF's getting pay-per-view main events. So that character it's important in AEW too, folks. So
Yeah, MJF's definitely, but obviously one of them.
Right. And speaking of which, we got a super chat. Samgunda Chomka with ZAR. I'm not sure what that currency is, but speaking of MJF, he says, thoughts on MJF's return so far? Feels like he's trying too hard. It's coming off kind of lame to me. He's my favorite AEW wrestler, but it's off to me.
He's mine. He's my favorite AEW wrestler as well.
Me too.
By far. One of my favorite wrestlers in general now. But I know what he's saying here. I know what the commenter are saying here. He's right. I wouldn't say lame, but there's something. I don't know. I think we all just want our MJF back. We just want him cussing people out, making fun of people, clowning people. I don't want he's our, what do they call him? He's our, not, what do they call him in the arena when they chant it? He's our, come on.
MVP or
scum? No, like they use
our scumbag or something like that.
Yeah, he's our scumbag. Not that. Back to good old heel MJF. That's where the money is with him. You got to have this layer in there right now of him being babyface. But I'm worried once it goes back to being heel. Like if you want him to be a babyface, you should have just let him be MJF the heel. Because the fans will still keep cheering if he's a complete dick.
Yeah, and people in the chat pointing out it is scumbag, but him kissing up to Daniel Garcia,
that was weird.
Fans want to see that.
That was very weird. I did not understand that at all. Like that's house show shit you do. That's not something you put on television when one of your guys is in their hometowns and they're not a big star. He's not a big star.
Yeah, and he's their top star coming back after 6 months, and his first pay-per-view match is Hechicero.
And promos with Danny and promos with Garcia.
Yeah, right. So it just seems like a disconnect. I feel when a star like that comes back, like Seth Rollins did, right? And you put him right back in the top, and it gets everyone buzzing, Raw ratings through the roof.
Yeah.
MJF, they're cooling him off by just keeping him. And granted, I think they're moving to him and Will Ospreay at All Out.
Do you think that's smart? I don't. Why are you making the fans choose between the guy who's super popular right now? You saw what happened when he came in the ring last night. She popped MJF.
Who wins that too? You don't want to beat MJF right now.
It makes no sense.
But you don't want to beat. Yeah, but you don't want to beat Will Ospreay.
So don't put him. That's what I'm saying. They should not be working each other. It's a dumb decision. Horrible decision.
The thing I'm worried about is that they make it a 3-way with Daniel Garcia in there, because that weakens that match. That's
obviously the guy who takes the L, though. That's
right.
Right.
It gives away the match finish. It does protect him, but this is supposed to be the WrestleMania, right? You want the biggest matches possible, and throwing Daniel Garcia weakens that match, tremendously.
It does, but Tony books for 5-star ratings, yo. And what the AEW sickos want to see. They want to see their high spot friggin' circle jerk matches. So here's what I don't understand.
I think if they called them that, it would do a better rating. Sorry.
No, I'm calling them that. But what I'm saying is like he books towards, like I said, the moves, not necessarily the characters matching up and lining up. And no heels, no baby faces. Let the crowd choose when they're out there. This is he doesn't understand. He's creating casualties by booking this way. And I just saw MJF get out popped by another babyface. I didn't think I'd ever see that. Okay. But when Ospreay came in that ring, my opinion, his pop was louder. We should not be seeing that. MJF just came back. We've been dying to see him. Don't be putting him in these screwball scenarios, Tony. He's doing the same crap with Strickland as well, and it's been driving me insane.
Yeah.
He's done a terrible job with Swerve.
Yeah. JDanso 507 saying MJF needs someone that can go back and forth on the mic with him. AEW doesn't have that right now. I'm going to throw it out right there. Christian MJF could have a really cool feud.
Oh, they could. Really quick, Raj Glenn, what about Ricky Stark? Ricky Stark showed he could.
Oh.
But is Ricky Stark? Ricky Starks is he's kind of on the outs,
Well, I mean, with his notorious, action outside of the ring.
What's that?
Well,
WWE shows?
Yeah, no, it was a meme. Ricky Starks. What was the origin of that meme over the past week, Raj?
There was a post on a message board that Ricky Starks got into some fight at a bar in Canada, and that's the reason why he hasn't been pushed and this and that. But then there's another report that came out, which there was nothing legitimate, no legitimate source reported on that
So
or
a rumor.
verified that.
So a
rumor,
rumor.
yes. And but then there was another report that Ricky Starks is tough to deal with, which is and then Fightful posted something that's not the case. Ricky Starks did turn down one angle. His thing with Big Cass or Big Bill.
Big Bill.
They wanted Ricky Starks to go over, and Ricky Starks didn't think that would be good for Big Bill, so he offered that Big Bill go over him. Wow. And then they just decided to just nix the angle, and they split amicably. So
good for Ricky Starks. Good, what a good guy. I'm sorry, that's incredible. Day and age I was wrestling in, guys, was not doing that. Everyone was always looking out for themselves. Good for Ricky Starks if that's true.
Do you remember when he pissed off Edge? I mean, Adam Copeland. Do you remember that promo?
I do.
On Collision?
I do.
It does seem like
the timing,
his push kind of stalled after that.
No disrespect to Edge. Okay. He's a Hall of Famer. He's not going to have 3 or 4 more years of active wrestling. Ricky Starks is one of your damn pillars. Okay. So Edge doesn't like what happened out there. Then they handle what they got to handle behind the scenes, right? And move on. Edge is a big boy. I'm sure he can take things like that. Or what happens is Edge probably doesn't give a shit about any of that. And Tony or the others in the locker room that are in leadership positions probably all like, oh, here's our chance to bury Ricky. And maybe that's how I don't know. I'm not there. I'm just guessing, obviously, right? But he's a star. There is no question in my mind that dude is a star, Ricky Starks. And by the way, when that shit happened with Edge, I thought he was pretty still quick-witted, because think about it. You're in the ring with a Hall of Famer who you now visibly see does not like what you just said about him and shot back on you, right?
All right.
What do? Ricky Starks said, he tried to say, oh, that got me on the edge, or whatever he said. Like, that was smart. That was quick thinking. I know Edge had his number in that promo, but Edge, you could tell, like, was salty about it. And I wouldn't cheer that if I was a fan. Like, oh, wow, what's your heat with this kid? He's obviously got under your skin. You're supposed to be Edge, Hall of Famer. Why do you give a shit? You know what I mean?
Right.
More proof to my point that I think Ricky Starks is a big star, and this company has done a terrible job of getting him there.
Yeah, and I think his contract is probably coming up sooner and later.
Ricky Starks, if you're watching, leave. Go to WWE. They'll make you a star. You already are a star. My opinion.
I mean, he's got it all.
He does have it all, my opinion.
Let's talk about last Friday's big surprise. In this very podcast, we said, oh, Rikishi's teasing again that Jacob Fatu could show up.
You guys said that.
Right?
You guys dashed my hopes when you said
that's
that
not
they might be there.
He says, Rikishi says a lot of things. And then Jacob Fatu showed up last week at the end of SmackDown.
We should have led with that. Yes.
I know. It's been a while.
Dude.
Yeah, doesn't that feel like weeks ago?
but like it's gonna be on again tonight. So like I was doing freaking cartwheels when he came out. I was going bonkers, blowing up your phones, both of you guys. I was so excited. Everyone was excited.
He's great. He should be leading the bloodline.
Yes, he should. Perfect debut. That is the way you showcase a main event debut, in my opinion, debut. That was amazing. Played all his strengths. Very well done. Looked like a megastar right from day one. And that's the difference between, with respect, WWE and AEW right there.
Yeah, I mean, look, WWE is bringing in, Jacob Fatu, who has not been on the main event scene in one of the top 3 companies.
Yes.
And bringing in so effectively, got everyone talking. His merch is selling like hotcakes. And then you look at, with AEW with Okada, and Okada is just kind of ice cold. And, and you could imagine how many times more Okada is making than Jacob Fatu. So it's just how much more that presentation means. And when you first get someone in, really making a big splash with them. And again, I was saying with MJF, he returns, make that big splash right away. Because once you get to Ospreay, by then he's kind of cooled off. So yeah, I thought it was one of the best debuts I've seen with WWE in a while. Like
true, I agree with that.
Yeah,
Glenn.
Unless you,
yeah.
So, what'd you think, Glenn?
No, I mean, look, I've seen him wrestle on the indies. He was wrestling in my small hometown in Petaluma, California. He was wrestling
Cool.
there, was wrestling all over the Bay Area. Like, saw him put on an amazing match against King Fatboy Papa Esco in like Daly City at a Vets Hall. Like, yeah, I mean, he's the real deal, man. For a big guy to hit that hard and be that agile.
Mhm.
Like, I mean, I'm telling you, he's going to be the most popular member of Bloodline the next generation.
I agree.
You know?
I mean, Matt, you were saying it months ago that you think Jacob Fatu should be the leader without Roman Reigns there. That Jacob Fatu should be the tribal chief or the head of the table.
He can do everything. He cuts good promos. Like he's not that this character will be comedic, obviously, but he has that layer to him if they ever need it one day.
Yeah.
Okay. He has all of these layers of these characteristics of his when he speaks in his body language. He can do so much different things, but like the Killer is obviously the best one he plays, in my opinion. And he can definitely carry a promo. He can, with respect, again, I know Solo's doing the best he can and he is improving. To be fair to him, he is improving, but he's not better on the mic than him. It's like, not with respect, again, it's not even close.
Yeah, it's
he's a much better promo than Solo.
Solo was tossed in the deep end on this. You know, he was the silent one in the Bloodline, and now it's like, oh, dude, you're gonna lead this. You know, it's tough.
It still could work. This is a big shot in the arm here.
Yeah,
this is a big shot in the arm, and I'm interested to see. Hey, when do we know when Roman's rumored to come back yet, or no?
No, I would guess SummerSlam. I mean, they need to make SummerSlam their WrestleMania because they're moving to 2 nights starting next year in stadium. So, I would have to think, you know, he comes out at the end of the Cody Solo Sikoa match, or there's something in that match that we see Roman Reigns, but that's just a guess.
The place would go crazy.
Oh yeah,
man. Have you been hearing the chants for Roman lately? Like even during that CM Punk segment last week, which was fantastic with the stuff with him and Paul Heyman, but fans chanting, "We want Roman," just every week. It's like when Ric Flair left for the WWF back in the '90s, and you had the "We want Flair" chants all over the arenas. That's what it's like.
Man. Punk did a good job in that promo, by the way, to get the fans back chanting CM Punk, because when they started doing that, I'm like, oh wow, this is God, what the hell? He got him back though.
What else is going on, Roger?
So real quick, I keep forgetting to do this, but please take a second, hit the subscribe button, hit like on this video. It really does help us a lot. We do appreciate it, you know, and you know, in addition to these Friday episodes, we do try to come whenever any big news breaks like we did last week. So please take a second, hit like, subscribe, and also leave a comment if there's a question you have that we didn't get to. If you look in our previous episodes, me and Matt, Glenn's been not as active. But me and Matt definitely
I look at all of them. I just don't always like chime in.
Yeah.
You know.
But definitely leave a comment and we'll get to you. It really helps us out. So thank you.
Raj, did you see that the first third or the first part of Cobra Kai, the final season, premieres July 18th?
Yeah, I saw that. So they filmed it all already, right? Or they're still filming it? All 3 parts?
I think they filmed it all already, but they're going to release it in 15 episodes, 5 at a time.
Yeah. Those kids are like, they're like in their 30s now, aren't they? By the time they're filming it, but still, I'm looking forward to it. I love that show.
Did you watch the Blue Beetle movie with Zolo from Cobra Kai?
No.
He's very good in that. Like, it's a shame that movie didn't do better because
Blue Beetle, what's that about?
It's a DC hero. It's kind of like a mix of like he gets a suit similar to like Iron Man, but it's like a beetle. Kinda.
It's like Ant-Man meets Iron Man, right?
Where do I watch it on?
It's on HBO Max.
Sweet.
Yeah, but Zolo, the kid from Cobra Kai, like he's so likable. He's so good as like the hero.
Miguel.
You know, who's in over his head. Yeah, who plays Miguel. He's so good in that show or in that movie.
I got one more subject to cover.
Yeah, please.
Death of WCW.
Oh, I heard that's good.
Yeah. You haven't watched it?
I watched. I thought it was phenomenal. I loved it. And we thought we knew everything we needed to know about Death of WCW. Problem is, over the years, that we had books written by marks for the most part. about no. What I mean by that, by people that are not actually that were not there, that
Right.
were not in the company when it happened. We're not part of management. Things of the network, most importantly, the people that are involved in the merger, all those different things, right? We always got the hey, it's Eric, Vince's, or Kevin Nash's. Who am I forgetting? Goldberg, like
Hulk Hogan.
one of these people's faults, right? And I thought it was a very good good 4-part documentary series. Rock's $7 company, right? They're the ones that produced it.
Yeah.
Did a very good job on it. I thought. I liked the interviews they had, and again, I love the fact that besides Guy Evans' recount of those 83 weeks and how WCW died, like I said, a lot of the other books are just a lot of like name blaming and things like that. Whereas Guy Evans' book goes into it much more into details. The first book I read that started talking about the actual, Time Warner AOL merger, how they didn't want wrestling to begin with, right? But when it got hot, they just okay, yeah, we like wrestling now. But there's a lot of different reasons, right? But
and then all the shadiness with Brad Siegel and Stu Snyder that they talked about in the last episode.
That's it. So yeah, the Brad Siegel component was a big part of it, I thought. You don't really hear many people talk about. It's always Eric's fault, it's always Vince's fault, it's always somehow your finger poke at Doom's fault. And Kevin Nash was hilarious on this, by the way. He was so funny in it, I thought.
He said he was super high when he did it.
You could see that.
you could tell.
You could tell. But he was I thought he was so funny. But the last one was good. The last episode when he finished it off with blaming Siegel.
Right. And I absolutely agree with him. I think if you were to pick one person
who has more of the responsibility, I agree.
Exactly. Brad Siegel. He made the hiring choices. He made, he was more in charge of the budget. When you throw all of everything on Bischoff, well, Bischoff is booking and he's managing talent. He's being at the shows and he's budgeting. No, the upper management should be looking at those budgets. So when you're saying Bischoff is, big, doling out these big contracts, well, upper management's the ones that's letting them. They should have reined it in if there was a problem. You can't put every aspect on Bischoff. So, I think Brad Siegel and obviously Jamie Kellner, who canceled it.
That's the biggest one, I thought.
Right, because then no one wanted to buy it. Like you made it unsellable by canceling it and making it public.
Yep, and not letting it come with the actual TV component of it to air it on, TBS or TNT.
Yeah, and also, so that series is over. If you haven't, check it out. And you mentioned Guy Evans' book. That's the best book about the death of WCW I've ever read. Ricky Zaldivar pointing out that the WrestleMania 40 documentary drops out this Wednesday on YouTube.
Thank you, Ricky. Thanks for
we'll have to talk about that next week. Yeah,
should we do a podcast after that?
Maybe we will, because the 5th of July is kind of a weird day. So maybe
why not?
Maybe Wednesday.
Yeah.
Speaking of documentaries, I want to talk about 2 things non-wrestling related. And Matt, you're going to humor me on this because what the audience loves on this podcast. They love a good dose of nostalgia. Yes. And I was watching a documentary on Paramount Plus called How Music Got Free. And Matt, it was all about MP3s and about the Napster revolution, about how there were employees at the CD pressing plant that were like stealing the CDs early. And that's how like Eminem and 50 Cent and Kanye and all those albums leaked on the internet early. It's because there was an inside source at the pressing plant.
Where do I watch this?
It's on Paramount Plus. It's so good. It's 2 episodes. It's like an hour and a half. Talks about the record industry trying to sue the fans, that were downloading music.
That's right.
Yeah. It talks about all the ripping groups that were like how somebody figured out in the first place that you could take a CD, turn it into an MP3 and share it online. Like it was really, really good.
I remember thinking that was really high tech at the time when the MP3 players came out.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, now Raj, I mean, we're all the same age. So it's
we
like
had Napster.
Yeah.
Yep.
But because you guys graduated college in 98?
2000.
2000. Okay, Matt, so that was perfect time. So you had the high-speed college internet with Napster.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you could just get all that stuff. I mean, that was just such a crazy time.
I didn't have high speed yet. So one song would take like 30 minutes. But yeah.
I remember I don't like back when like the Natalie Imbruglia record came out, like the girl I was dating, I was like, I'm going to download this and I'll burn her a CD of it, you know? And it was just like, I'm beating the man. It was great. But it's funny that this ties into, so as people know on this podcast or on the show, like we've talked about some of the advancements in AI. So I didn't know about this till 2 weeks ago. There are 2 sites out now. One's called Suno and one is called Udio, like audio without the A. And what's crazy is 6 months ago, if you said you wanted to make AI music, you would go to a site and it would just put out bleeps and bloops or like, here's a guitar line with a drum track. It was really simple. And what's crazy now, I'm going to play you guys something we'll talk about in a second. Like you can type in stuff now and it will make full songs for you, like with vocals, with everything. You can even just give it an idea and it'll write the lyrics for the song, or you can update, or you can write your own and it'll write a song around it. And so, of course, what happened, the record companies got together this week and they sued Udio and Suno for copyright infringement because the way AI works, it has to train on data. So like ChatGPT, that just surfs the web, looks at writing, and then it says, hey, now I know how to write. So somebody with both these AI services had them listen to millions of hours of music and AI learned how to write songs.
Yep.
But it's crazy though, man, because this is going to be like, I think it's going to be the same thing as the MP3s. I don't think it's that the record companies can't. I'm sorry, what were you going to say?
It's different though, because what happens when they think starts making up freaking smash hit songs?
It's already happened. There was already one that got sampled.
So then who gets the credit for that?
Well, so you can't copyright a pure outright AI track.
So
like,
let's
because
say you give them the lyrics to the song.
Yeah, I could copyright the lyrics to the song. The music is not copyrightable, but the lyrics can be copyrighted. But here's the thing, though. This is what we know about the record industry. The record industry doesn't care about, oh, this is taking away jobs from musicians. The record industry cares about, well, we're not getting paid for this. You know, they're looking for, they're not, I don't think they're looking to shut it down. I think they're looking to get a cut of it because they want to use it. You know?
Okay.
Like, yeah, they want to be the gatekeepers of this all. So it's kind of crazy, right? Because so I want to play this for you. And this ties into good nostalgia. As you know, in this podcast, we're all fans of Limp Bizkit, as is every average American. And you know, Matt, Fred Durst once bragged that he watched Fight Club 28 times.
All right.
Do you remember that on Living It Up? It was the weirdest rap lyric. He was like, I've seen Fight Club 28 times. There's like, okay, Fred, we get it. You like Fight Club.
Yeah.
You're cool. So when I couldn't sleep at night, I was like, okay, I need something to put into the AI.
Okay.
And let me see if I can get this going here. Bear with me, folks. I'm going to put a link to this, but this is crazy what I was able to just come up with. So let me go to share screen and allow. Oh, this. Okay, there we go. StreamYard Studio. No, I don't want to do that. Pardon me. Okay,
do you want me to talk about the ratings while we're
talk about the ratings while I cue this up? Talk about the ratings.
Yeah, how did AEW do?
Yeah.
So AEW. So last week was an outlier. Like that number was just too freakish, and it proved it this week. But they did a bad number again this week. It was their second lowest audience after last week in 18 to 49 in history, and the third lowest audience. So they did 680,000 with a 0.22 18 to 49 rating. Again, those are two of the lowest ratings they've done and numbers that they've done.
Was Big Bang the lead-in again?
Yeah. So it was back with Big Bang as the lead, and that did almost 900,000 viewers. But the demo rating for Big Bang isn't as much. So AEW beats Big Bang in the demo. Big Bang gets way more viewers. So I don't know if it's the Forbidden Door bill that's driving viewers. Maybe they'll come back over this weekend, but their ratings have been dropping, at a pretty fast rate, because just in March they were averaging 781,000 viewers. In February they were averaging 816,000 viewers, and they're down in the 600s for June. So something's not clicking.
Forbidden Door is not exciting. I'm going to watch it because I'm a wrestling fan, right? So these companies always have my money. I'm always going to watch it. But to a lot of people, they're not going to watch that pay-per-view.
Yeah. So
not exciting.
That number, they need to. I'm going to watch that Swerve Osprey match, but then
Swerve
I'll probably
Ospreay,
watch the rest
yes.
of the pay-per-view.
But that's another example of crappy booking. Swerve Strickland should not be going against this freaking phenomenon that Will Ospreay is right now, with the crowd going bananas for him. Right, is a really big baby face. Like, stop putting your baby faces in these stupid no-win scenarios, Tony. Swerve Strickland and MJF. These are terrible scenarios to put both of them in.
Yeah. And then as far as NXT, they dropped a lot from last week too. Last week had a huge number with that Battle Royal. This week it was kind of a regular show, and they did 611,000 viewers with a 0.18 P18 and 49 rating. So the lowest number in 5 weeks, but the previous, ever since that Sexy Red episode, they had been doing over 700,000 viewers an episode.
Wow.
And in the 0.22 range. And so this past Wednesday didn't really have Tuesday didn't really have much. And so they're back to what they were doing before this Sexy Red streak started. So they need something big again to kind of get that number up, but still these are normal numbers otherwise for NXT.
Honestly, I've been watching it lately. I'm now back watching it more than I was before. I love who their champion is. I love like, I'd say 3 of their storylines I'm into at the moment. Yeah. I like where they're heading. I like exactly who the talent they're using too.
Yeah. Someone in the chat saying I'm frozen. Am I frozen to you guys?
No, I see you.
Okay.
You were, but you're undone. We could hear you the whole time.
Yes.
No, gotcha.
Oh, that's funny. I forgot about this. Yeah, Escobar Freire said this reminds me of the time Glenn had the computer write an episode of Monday Night Raw. That was like 5 years ago. Wow. Where AI was, and that was predictive. That would suggest things, and I had to autocomplete each sentence. Okay, let's see. Give me a thumbs up if you hear the audio here. Okay, so Fred Durst watched Fight Club 28 times, and I said, "What if we wrote a song?" AI. I wrote some lyrics about watching Fight Club 28 times. Let's see if this plays. Of course, now this is not playing. This is great. Oh, there we go. I need to unmute the site. There we go. So, Matt, this is all AI performed off lyrics.
All right. Turn it up if you could.
Sure.
First time Fight Club on my screen. Mind blown, those twists like a dream. Tired of chaos, life so free. Found a new reality and who I wanna be. Watching and learning, each time it's new. Fight Club's a journey, breaking all the rules. Get the fuck up, it's on my TV, pay me no mind. Yeah. I seen the Fight Club over 28 times. It's on my TV, pay me no mind. Yeah. I seen the Fight Club over 28 times. Give or take. Second time, recognize clues. Third time, memorize the rules. So 2, 4th time, bro, so raw. Punch, 5th time, words that I saw. 6 chariots, there is tight. Stay cold. 7 head from live, right? The keys to 8, watch out, look grim. Penguin, 9 Tyler's kiss, it's all him. Watching and learning.
Pretty good.
Yeah, it turned out well. Yeah. We don't have to.
Yeah, I could hear that somewhere. I can imagine hearing that somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah. So
that's you're gonna incorporate gigantic pop into that.
You got to walk before you run. But everyone, if you want to listen to the whole thing, go to tinyurl.com/fightclub28. We'll post a link on the Gigantic Pop Twitter as well. But it's just crazy that like you can do this now. Now, granted, that wasn't the first thing it generated because you guys know me, I'm a perfectionist. And I was like, the scratching doesn't sound right on that. Or the cadence when he said get the fuck up wasn't what I envisioned in my head. So I generated multiple versions and then finally got to one where it was like, this is the one I wanted.
Well, there you go. There you are.
Yeah. It's just crazy. Glenn. It's just crazy. This is what the technology can do now. I feel like we're all.
And hang on. Did you write all time out?
I wrote all the lyrics.
You wrote them all?
All the lyrics, yes.
How long did that take you to write them out?
The first draft was just okay. And then I was like, no, I need more references to this. And then when I had the idea,
That is not what I asked you, Glenn Rubens. I asked you
probably
how
spent about
long.
3 hours. I probably spent 3 hours writing, and then the little shouts because I tried to cram in as many jokes as possible into them. So, and there's more. If you listen to the whole song, I'm pretty proud of some of the jokes that like I put in there in the little backing vocals.
Everybody will get it.
I was going to say it's funny because, yeah, I could hear it. I was going to say it's funny because this last week, like, I feel like we haven't been hearing Glenn replying to texts as much. So I was like, oh, he must be like really busy at work, or like,
yeah,
this is why
in the lab doing this.
Yeah, got to get a Lakini's Juice reference when I mentioned Ed from Live being in Fight Club. Yeah, I was just like, I'm sitting there and I'm like, no, this needs more. No, this needs more. It's crazy though, man. And like, and by the way, here's the weird thing about this. People, I think we haven't talked about this on this podcast. I was in a rap rock band for 7 years from like 1995 to 2002. So it's the sort of thing where I probably could have just recorded this myself, but I spent so much time like tweaking it to get the AI to do what I wanted, you know?
Nice.
Yeah.
Kind of on that note with the tides changing. Bigfoot Sneakerhead with the $4.99 super chat. How do you feel about Best Buy stopping selling Blu-rays? End of an era. Missed the time buying CDs. RIP Blockbuster. RIP CDs. And then Target. They're stopping selling DVDs. So DVDs are kind of dying as well.
That's it. I mean, I felt this way when CDs and DVDs started.
Digital media. Yeah.
From VHS, shit to can, shit to bed rather, and was no longer that. I didn't like that. Sucked. I thought I remember thinking that sucked. Same with cassette tapes. When it went from albums to cassette tapes to CDs, I did not like that phase.
Yeah.
Well, now, like even with computers with CD-ROMs, none of them have CD-ROMs anymore. So if you need to get something off of CD-ROM, it's a big pain in the ass.
Huh. Yeah, good point.
Well, I mean, you can get external drives, thankfully.
Yeah. You would have to buy a USB drive or something.
It's crazy.
A USB, I mean, that connects by USB. Here's something wrestling related. Jeremy Smith is asking, guess who is the AEW wild card person? So the Young Bucks said they're going to have a wild card in the Owen Hart tournament. I think most people are figuring that's going to be Hangman Page. I don't know. Do you guys have any predictions?
Solid.
It can't be Kenny or Hangman, right? Because then if they're the ones saying they have a wild card, then it's going to be somebody they approve or they like.
Yeah, but Hangman's a heel now, so I could see him getting back in their fold.
Oh, okay. If he's a heel when he left, then yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, and Omega's still out for a while.
Sorry, who else are we forgetting? Anybody else?
I mean, they could always put Ospreay in there if he loses to Swerve this weekend, which I would guess he's losing. If Swerve loses, that would be kind of like hurting Swerve a lot to be losing the title this quickly. So
it definitely would. I wanted to see Jeff Jarrett win that. Owen, actually, crazy as that.
You saw that promo?
That was it wasn't a promo. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah. It's hard to like root for anyone else after that.
I'm glad they gave him all that time.
Did you see it on TV or on the internet? Because the internet
I saw the internet.
Longer.
I saw the internet.
Yeah, that's the full one.
Yeah, it was like 9 minutes, something like that.
Yeah.
But he had the time to get there versus if you're on TV and they give you like a minute and a half, 2-minute promo, you couldn't get there doing it that way. There's no way.
Yeah, if you remember when Owen passed, Jeff Jarrett was supposed to be the match right after Blue Blazer versus the Godfather. So
it's crazy.
And they were very close, Owen and Jeff Jarrett, and they were involved, in that angle. They were a tag team. So yeah, I hear you, Jeff Jarrett. And if they didn't have that stip that the winner gets the title shot at Wembley, that's who I'd probably do,
Yeah, I just realized I didn't know that was the stip. I didn't know. I just thought you get some cheesy title belt and like some award, and it's prestigious because you won the Owen,
right?
Like kind of like Stanley Cup. I thought it was like the Owen was similar, but I didn't know you get a world title shot. I didn't know that.
Yeah, the winner faces the champ at Wembley.
Damn it! So then it's not going to be Jeff,
right?
I don't know. I mean, Wembley is going to be a big show regardless. I just feel like Man, everyone was so buzzing about all the potential with AEW last summer in the build up to that.
It's true.
You know?
And
Oh yeah,
that was
last year's
very-
Wembley show.
Yeah, it was impressive that place sold the way it did.
I want them to do
Yeah.
well.
And plus, they had a strong storyline going into it with MJF and Adam Cole.
Isn't it
They
And
did.
then, and then
crazy? to
CM
think-
Punk and Samoa
Yeah, I
Joe.
was gonna say it's crazy to think CM Punk wrestled less than a year ago for AEW.
And people are
Yeah,
gonna say,
this
"Well,
time.
sorry, go ahead."
Oh, I was just gonna say this time last year, CM Punk was on Collision every week. So it's wild how much difference a year makes.
But and the people are gonna say, "Well, Matt, you like last year's Wembley, and you just put over MJF versus Adam Cole." That you said you don't like how Tony keeps putting baby faces against one another. I don't. The reason that worked so well, though, between those two was because Adam Page or maybe MJF, we weren't sure. One of those two was going to flip
Right.
at some point, and we were all waiting for it to happen. Maybe it'll happen, maybe it won't. And they put out this amazing match, and the match was absolutely out of this galaxy good. I love that match. Loved every bit of it. Remember Eddie Guerrero spots when they're throwing their chairs back and forth to each other when the ref was down? This is so well done. But my point is, the reason it worked is because that was a very layered storyline that had tons of layerage to it. It's made up a word, layerage. Layers to it, to make us interested. We were emotionally invested in both characters, and therefore it worked. And they both were getting over. One wasn't outshining the other. MJF's the bigger star between the two, in my opinion. Adam Cole was getting over too, though, right? So I don't know. I just thought it was a very well done storyline.
It was a great storyline, and then they killed it with that
They
devil.
screwed it
stuff.
all up. Yes,
Because they started the devil stuff after Adam Cole was already injured. It's one thing if you wait until Adam Cole can come back, but they started it when they knew he was injured, and the payoff was done before you couldn't do a match, for another 6 months at least.
you could have made somebody a star out of that devil character. Like whoever, they could have put the devil on somebody else.
Yeah. Yeah, and now I just feel like they can't go back to it. I feel like it's too far gone to go back to Adam Cole and MJF.
I mean, maybe at a different time in a different, circumstance, context. What were we going to say? Sorry.
Oh, nothing. Regarding the AEW, the surprise, Antonio
There you
Baker
go.
noting it could be Dijak or Ricochet. I don't think Ricochet's contract is up yet. Well, I guess it would be by Wednesday. So it could be.
I could be okay, because that would and the AEW plays would go berserk for Ricochet, obviously.
Oh yeah, it'd be great. We'll see. It's exciting. I can't believe the summer's just gonna fly by.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
And we got Money in the Bank the week after this weekend, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So we should do a show for that too.
Yes. Yeah, we will. I'm down.
It's gonna be good, guys. It's all gonna be good.
Do we have any more chats? So I want to get cracking here.
I think we got everything. Yeah, SmackDown's starting in a couple minutes.
Yeah. So it was kind of a slow news week. So hopefully something big happens at Forbidden Door this weekend or next week. I wish we could have done an episode last weekend after Jacob Fatu came and they did that Drew McIntyre CM Punk stuff, but we couldn't make it work.
That fake blood, though, man.
I wanted to.
But that's only if you zoom in on it. Who watches that stuff with it zoomed in?
What you're bitching about the blood on Punk?
I thought it was really fake.
Glenn, I thought that looked okay. That's fair.
I mean,
I thought it looked good.
The segment was great. The attack was great. I love that. I thought the intensity. Look, their feud is one of my favorite things in WWE right now. I just think the fake blood looks a little weird. That's all. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
It didn't bother me. Again, when you see the pictures online where it's right in his face, but whoever watches anything like that?
I thought the detail of him with it in his mouth was a good detail. And also I'm not focused on him. I'm focused on Drew.
True.
Yeah.
When the whole segment, because they didn't show him whipping his ass or anything. They just showed him walking in with him on his shoulders like a fucking deer. Like a dead deer, and walking him in
so
just
cool.
like he went hunting and got his trophy, and he's walking all through the arena, through the backstage, and the sell from all the other superstars in the back round was perfect.
Yeah.
Perfectly done. They're paying attention to these details, and this company is rewarding us for paying attention to details. If you've noticed lately, with all the Wyatt Six stuff,
Yeah.
They're doing all of these cool, like I can even insult them by calling them Easter eggs, but like details. If you pay attention to all the different settings now and everything that you're seeing between backstage promos or even in-ring promos or matches, they're rewarding their fans for paying attention to all of the details. And they pay it off in a wrestling manner later. That's the best part.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know if you noticed, but that was all one shot. And then they seem like they do that for one thing each episode, where it's all done one shot. The Wyatt Six, that was all in one shot.
Yep.
And
you're right.
It's like your brain picks up on it, even if you don't notice stuff like that, but it just makes it so much more effective when you do it that way.
It looks so
I agree.
realistic, right? It puts you in the moment. You feel like you're there.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to wrap it up. Ian Gomez, $5 super chat, wants to know if I'm going to make a new album with AI. Stay tuned. I've been experimenting. I didn't even tell you guys about this yet. You can upload audio that you own the rights to, of course. You can upload audio. You check a box and say, I own the rights to this. And you can actually click with the AI and extend feature. So you could upload like a guitar riff, or Matt, you could just upload you saying something and it'll build a song and take your voice and add instruments.
Cool.
Yeah,
That's
so
cool.
I've been uploading my band's old music, and I'm like, give me a new song by the same band, and it's doing it, and it's weird.
Wow, that must be very weird. Were you the lead singer of your band?
I was one of the lead vocalists doing the hip and the hop, as the kids say.
The hip and the hopping.
You've got to give me an example.
I was rapping. I've played it for you on this podcast. It's got samples.
You have. I remember you did.
Yeah, we've done it before. It's out there. But yeah, maybe some future fun things. Future fun things. But we'll see. Thank you for the super chat, Ian. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Please like, share, subscribe. Go check out that track, and it's in the show notes. We'll catch you back here next time on Gigantic Pop. Everyone, have a great weekend. Take care.